everybody, my name is Heidi and I'm an occupational therapist and yoga instructor. I am here to offer a midday yoga break, and this practice is going to be completed standing, so you don't even have to worry about getting on the floor or anything like that. It's just that recharge, refresh that we all need at some point to get that blood flowing. And I don't know about you, but my sleep, I've been getting some, cramps and pains in my neck. So this is just designed to help the body and mind flow through all of stretching and moving the muscles and joints and getting the body back to balance. So feel free to comment or ask questions if you're watching this later. And we're going to go ahead and start with our feet hip distance apart, toes pointed straight ahead. Little bend in the knees, just soft ankles, knees, hips. And then inhaling, bringing the arms overhead. Exhaling, pressing that space away. Breathing through the full movement. Now taking those feet about shoulder width apart, feet at about 45-degree angle, inhaling the arms overhead, exhaling into sunflowers, inhaling, reaching up. I like to start out by moving the larger joints and muscle groups and then get to the smaller joints and muscle groups later. Adding more movement with our moonflowers. A forward bend here from the hips. And I'm just thinking about zipping the abdominals in, having a nice supported trunk. And we'll bring our hands together to heart center, bending the knees here, sitting into temple. Again, drawing everything up and together, supported. Starting that deep breathing and relaxing this pose, bringing the feet back to hip distance apart. Inhaling those arms overhead and exhaling, hinging at the hips for a forward fold. We can use a block here if we don't want to go down too far, and sometimes I just like using a block because I'm able to get a better stretch in the back of my legs when I do this with a block versus reaching for the floor. Sending the breath to the back of the body. Letting the neck release with gravity. And maybe letting the body sink deeper into that forward fold. Okay, before we come up from this, engaging the abdominals, so zipping the abdominals into the spine. I'm going to bring the arms overhead, exhaling the hands to heart center. Inhaling the arms overhead, exhaling forward fold once again. We're going to inhale, looking up into monkey, so a flat back, hands on the shins. Again, we can have blocks here for our hands. And we're going to step back into a tall lunge, bringing the hands to the hips. Oh, that stretch on the right hip feels so good. So the heel is lifted. We're in a lunge here. We can keep our hands at our hips. We can bring hands to heart center. We can bring our arms out for cactus arms. Or the hands overhead. Not a huge fan of that one because it always raises the shoulders and it's trickier on the balance, but if that's where you want to go in your practice, go for it. Nice deep breath here. From here, we're going to ground the back heel into a warrior one. And then from here, straightening the front leg, keeping a micro bend in the knee, so just a really tiny bend. Nice deep breath. The breath should be really comfortable in any pose, so it's a good check-in that each pose should have a comfortable breath, and if we are working too hard to breathe, that's when we need to scale it back. And then the breath is telling us when we can progress forward in our postures and poses. So from here, we're either going to grab our elbows or interlace our fingers or act like we're holding a beach ball for or hold our wrists and open for a chest opener. We can also turn our palms in toward each other. So finding the placement that's most comfortable for you. And I really have a tendency to have the mobility be from my low back, but we really want the chest to lift up here. Chest lifting up, opening. And then from here, hinging forward at the hips. Neck staying in line, nice and neutral. And then from here, bringing the hands down to either the thigh or our blocks or the floor. Oh, that's such a nice stretch. And if you're feeling it, I'm totally feeling it, let that right leg float up to level. Just a nice balance. And then bringing that right leg to meet the front leg into forward fold. Again, relaxing the neck against gravity, or with gravity, I should say. Engaging the abdominals, inhaling the arms overhead, bringing the hands to heart center. Maybe closing the eyes here, taking a few moments to do some nice deep breaths. I know my breaths kind of got a little elevated, so I'm going to just take a few moments to breathe. And now we'll go to our second side. Inhaling the arms overhead. Exhaling, forward fold. Stepping back with the left foot. Keeping the heel lifted. Bringing the body up into a high lunge. Or crescent pose. Breathing into that stretch. Each side is going to feel a little bit different. That's okay. Maybe keeping the arms here or coming to hands to heart center or cactus arms. That front knee is over the ankle. then from here, shifting the weight forward slightly, grounding the back heel into warrior one. Breathing here. Adjusting if we feel like we need to. And then straightening that front leg, of course keeping the micro bend, but straightening. And then either grabbing opposite elbow, wrist, turning the hands toward prayer, or just grabbing a big beach ball. Opening the chest, lifting the chest up. Feeling the ribs expand with each inhale. And then from here, hinging forward at the hips. Reaching for that flat back. And then releasing the hands to either the thigh, blocks, or the floor. Breathing into that stretch in the back of the front leg. And if our practice is feeling like it today, letting that left leg float up. Keeping the feet flat, the foot flexed. And then bending that knee, bringing the foot to join the front foot into forward fold. And letting the whole body relax here. Bending the knees, letting the torso rest on the thighs. Gently turning the head in a no, shaking the head no. Breathing into the back of the body. And then from here, ever so slowly, begin rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. Letting the knees stack over the ankles, hips over the knees, shoulders over the hips. The shoulders roll back into place, the head stacks on top. Spending a few breaths, maybe closing the eyes, embodying what this feels like for us. Hopefully we feel refreshed, rejuvenated. Taking one hand on the chest, one hand on the low belly. Feeling the low belly fill. Bringing the hands to the sides, letting the eyes open. Thank you so much for taking your time today to go through a yoga flow for yourself and for joining me. Again, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the comments box. And with that, taking one final inhale, bringing the arms overhead, exhaling hands to heart center. Namaste. See you next time.